1956. To put on her eye makeup this morning, this woman is going to spit into a small dry block of mascara, mix it into a paste with a tiny brush, and apply it to her lashes. And she does not think this is the least bit strange because it is simply how mascara worked. Her name was Joyce. She was 26 years old, and she was sitting at her mirror in the early morning light before her husband was even awake, doing what the women of her era called putting on her face. Not touching it up, not a quick dab of color, a complete, careful, step-by-step construction of a whole made-up face, foundation and powder and brow and liner and lash and lip, assembled in a particular order with a particular set of tools before she would allow herself to be seen by another living soul, including the man asleep in the next room. This was not vanity. This was the daily discipline of a decade, and almost every step of it has been forgotten. She put her face on every single morning the way you might put on a uniform. These are 20 things a 1950s woman did to apply her makeup. In an age when a made-up face was considered a basic courtesy, a woman owed the world. And when the methods for achieving it were, by our standards, genuinely startling. Some of it was real artistry. Some of it will make you wince. All of it added up to that flawless, painted, put-together look we still recognize instantly as the 1950s. The whole ritual had a name. She put her face on. Number 11 is the one that people today simply refuse to believe. And every woman of the era did it without a second thought. Number 1 is not a product at all, and it is what the whole painted face was really for. Now, before we go further, tap that subscribe button. You will not want to miss what is coming next. Number 20. It began with a great deal of powder. The 1950s face was built on powder, and a lot of it. Old tutorials from the era can make it look as though a woman was meant to dump most of a cup of flour onto her face to get it right. Translucent powders from companies like Coty and Max Factor were pressed on with a puff, all over the face. Then the excess was dusted away, leaving a smooth, poreless, matte finish. Shine was the enemy. The goal was a flawless, almost mask-like surface, cool and even and utterly without gloss. And it started and ended with powder. Number 19. Pancake. Straight from Hollywood. The foundation of the decade was a genuine piece of movie magic. Max Factor had developed a cake foundation called Pancake for use in Technicolor films so that actors would not look strange under the new color cameras. And it was applied with a damp sponge for a smooth, even matte coverage. Women wanted the flawless look they saw on the screen, and so Pancake jumped from the film studio to the ordinary dressing table and sold tens of millions throughout the 1950s. The face that had been invented for the movies became the face every woman wore to the shops. Number 18. Two things in one. In 1953, Max Factor introduced Creme Puff, and it was a small revolution of convenience, a product that combined foundation and powder into a single step. A woman could sweep it on and have both her base and her setting powder done at once. It was the era beginning to reach for speed and ease. the first hint of the modern instinct to save a woman a few minutes, wrapped up in one little compact that lived in a great many handbags. Number 17. The green powder trick. Here is a piece of real, clever cosmetic science that most people think was invented recently. To cancel out unwanted redness in the skin, a blotchy patch, or a ruddy cheek, women used green-tinted powder, green sitting opposite red, and neutralizing it. This color-correcting trick, which feels thoroughly modern, was already understood and sold in the 1950s. The women at those mirrors knew their color theory, and they used it, quietly, to even out the canvas before the rest of the face went on. Number 16. Rouge used with a whisper. Rouge, what we now call blush, was applied with real restraint in the 1950s, a mere hint of soft peach or pink, and it was not the main event the way it can be today. But here is the clever part. Women often blended it not just on the apple of the cheek, but upward and outward toward the temples and the forehead, using it to gently shade the face into a more oval shape. It was quiet contouring, decades before the word existed, a soft warming and shaping of the face, done so subtly that it read as nothing more than a healthy glow. Number 15. The eyebrows were often drawn from nothing. Now we reach the part that genuinely shocks people. For a great many women, the eyebrow was not groomed. It was replaced. Women tweezed their natural brows down to a thin line, and some plucked them away almost entirely, and then drew the eyebrow back on with a pencil in whatever shape the fashion demanded. The strong, tapered, arched brow of the decade was frequently not the woman's own hair at all. It was a drawing, applied fresh each morning, using short strokes to mimic real hairs. The brow you admired was, quite often, pure artistry on a blank canvas. Number 14. The Mandarin Sweep. As the decade went on, a particular drawn brow came into fashion, sometimes called the Mandarin brow, and it took the artifice even further. The natural tail of the brow was removed, and the line was drawn back on with an upward sweep at the outer end, echoing the upward flick of the eyeliner below it. The whole eye was being lifted and elongated with pencil and paint, brow and liner working together, sweeping up and out toward the temple in a single, elegant direction. It was a designed eye, engineered for effect. Number 13. One pencil, two jobs. Money and practicality shape the face too. A woman's eyebrow pencil frequently did double duty as her eyeliner, the same little pencil drawing the brow and then lining the eye. There was an economy to the 1950s makeup bag, a make-do resourcefulness, where one well-chosen tool was expected to earn its keep in more than one place. The same hand that drew the brow simply moved down to the lash line and kept working. Number 12. The winged eye. The single most iconic line of the entire decade was the winged eye, the cat eye. A line of black or brown drawn along the top lash line, and then flicked upward and outward at the outer corner. It created an almond-shaped, feline lifted eye, and it defined the look of the 1950s so completely that we still reach for it whenever we want to evoke the era. It took a steady hand and real practice. a woman built it gradually, in small strokes, because there was no fixing a wobble except to wipe it off and begin again. Number 11. The mascara you spat into. Here is the one nobody believes. Mascara in the 1950s commonly came as a small, dry, solid block, sometimes called cake or block mascara. And to use it, you had to add moisture. The proper instruction was to wet the little brush with warm water and work it into the block to make a paste. But in the reality of 1,000 morning routines, most women simply spat on the block, swirled the brush in it, and applied the result to their lashes. Every glamorous, immaculate woman you have ever seen in a photograph from this decade very likely spat into her mascara that morning, mixed it with the tip of a brush, and thought absolutely nothing of it. That was mascara. That was normal. Number 10. Top lashes only. However she mixed it, a woman applied her mascara to the top lashes and, as a rule, left the bottom lashes bare. The magazines and the makeup companies of the day warned that darkening the lower lashes made a woman look tired, or hard, or older. So, the eye was opened and defined from above only. The drama kept up top with the liner and the brow, while the lower lash line stayed clean. It is a small rule, and it instantly dates a face to the era when you know to look for it. Number 9. One shade of shadow on the lid alone. Eyeshadow in the 1950s was restrained by later standards. A woman typically wore a single color, kept to the mobile lid and not carried far above the crease, in a soft neutral for day or a pastel, if she was feeling adventurous. The elaborate, blended, multi-shade eye of later decades was not yet the fashion. One quiet color, close to the lash line, was the whole of it, letting the liner and the lashes and the brow do the real talking. Number 8. The curler and the coming of the wand. The metal eyelash curler was a fixture of the dressing table, clamped onto the lashes to give them an upward curve before the mascara went on. And change was stirring, because the 1950s is when mascara in a tube with its own built-in wand first appeared, with both Helena Rubinstein and Max Factor claiming to have invented it. The spitting and the little block were, though women did not yet know it, on their way out, about to be replaced by the wand we all still use today. I have to step out of the story for a moment. I went into this thinking of 1950s makeup as quaint and pretty and simple, all red lips and soft glamour. What I actually found was a daily act of real skill. Women drawing entire eyebrows from scratch, hand-painting a perfect winged line, layering a lip to last for hours, and yes, discreetly spitting into a block of mascara, all before breakfast, every single day. It was artistry, done under pressure by nearly everyone. Now back to Joyce. Number 7. The one red lipstick, and it was matte. Lips were the boldest feature of the 1950s face, and red was the reigning color, though pinks and corals rose alongside it through the decade. And every bit of it was matte. The glossy, shiny lipstick we take for granted simply did not exist yet, in the way it later would. The 1950s lip was a flat, rich, saturated block of color, matte from morning to night. And that matte density is a large part of why those lips read as so bold and so definite in every photograph. Number 6. A little Vaseline for the shine. Because the products were matte, a woman who wanted a touch of sheen on her lips reached for a surprising tool, plain petroleum jelly, Vaseline, dabbed over her lipstick to add a bit of gloss. That same jar of Vaseline was often brushed onto the eyebrows to make them look defined and glossy, or onto the lids. The single most humble product in the house did the work that a shelf full of specialized glosses and primers would later be sold to do. It was resourcefulness again, a jar of Vaseline standing in for a dozen modern products. Number 5. The lipstick ritual that made it last. Applying lipstick was not a single swipe. It was a procedure engineered for endurance. First, the lips were moisturized, often with Vaseline. Then the outline was drawn with a lip brush and the color filled in. Then the woman pressed her lips together, blotted them on a tissue. And here is the clever step. Dusted a little translucent powder over the lips, sometimes right through a single ply of the tissue, before applying a second layer of color on top. Line, fill, press, blot, powder, and reapply. That layering is what let a 1950s lip survive a lunch, a cigarette, and a long evening without vanishing. Number 4. The woman who ended the smearing. All that layering existed to solve a real problem. That lipstick came off on everything. And in 1950, a chemist named Hazel Bishop solved it. She invented what she called no-smear lipstick, the first genuinely long-lasting kiss-proof lipstick. A real feat of chemistry, and it was a sensation. Revlon rushed out its own long-lasting lipstick a few years later. A woman had reformulated the most essential item on the dressing table so that it finally stayed on the lips instead of the coffee cup. And in doing so, she changed what every woman could expect from her makeup. Number 3. The nails matched the mouth. The made-up look extended to the fingertips, and the rule was coordination. The cosmetics companies deliberately matched their nail enamel shades to their lipstick shades, so that a woman's red or pink or coral lips were echoed exactly on her nails. The oval nail, not too long, painted to match the mouth, completed the assembled look. Nothing was accidental. The face and the hands were meant to speak the same color, part of a single, coordinated, head-to-fingertip presentation. Number 2. The full face before the bedroom door. Now, the honest heart of it. For an enormous number of women in this era, the complete face went on before she left her own bedroom in the morning, before she was seen by her husband, her children, anyone. The expectation, absorbed from every magazine and advertisement and film, was that a woman owed the world a made-up, pleasant, finished face, and that to be caught without it was a small failure. That is real pressure, a daily obligation dressed up as a courtesy. And we should be honest that it weighed on women and cost them time and money and a certain freedom every single day. Number 1, not a product at all. She put her face on. So after the powder and the paint and the spit and the Vaseline, here is what the whole ritual actually was. It was armor and it was composure. and it was a kind of control. Putting her face on gave a woman a prepared surface to meet an often difficult world. A finished, deliberate self she assembled with her own hands each morning before she stepped into a day that would judge her. Some of it was obligation, forced on her by an era that demanded she always please. But some of it was genuinely hers, a private ritual of care and skill and quiet confidence, a few minutes at the mirror that belonged to her alone before the demands of everyone else began. Joyce put her face on every morning, partly because the world insisted she must, and partly because when the face was finished and she looked at herself in the early light, she felt ready and composed and entirely herself. The world saw the painted face. What it never saw was the small, steady act of self-possession underneath it. 20 things. Powder by the handful, foundation from a film studio, eyebrows drawn from nothing, a winged line painted by hand, a block of mascara mixed with spit, a lip layered 6 ways to last, and a jar of Vaseline doing the work of a dozen products. It was resourceful, and it was skilled, and it was, in its quiet way, an art form practiced every morning by nearly every woman in the country. Much of it we abandoned for tubes and wands and glosses that ask far less of us, and we lost the skill along with the trouble. But every time you draw a wing on your own eyelid and reach for a red lipstick, you are speaking a language those women wrote. She put her face on every morning with a steady hand and a great deal of powder, and the face she built is one we have never stopped admiring. And somewhere right now, a granddaughter is watching an old video tutorial, laughing in disbelief at a glamorous woman calmly spitting into a little cake of mascara, unable to imagine doing such a thing herself. She does not know that her grandmother did exactly that every morning for years, and drew her own eyebrows on with a pencil, and painted a perfect black wing without a single modern tool, and layered her red lipstick so it would last through a whole day of work no one thanked her for. The granddaughter reaches for a tube of mascara with a wand, and a lip gloss in a doe foot applicator, and does in 90 seconds what once took half an hour of real skill. She has no idea what her grandmother knew, but when she draws that little wing at the corner of her eye, she is doing something a woman at a mirror in 1956 taught the whole world to do, one careful morning at a time. Thank you so much for watching. If this brought back the smell of face powder and the click of a compact, give it a like. And tell me in the comments where in the world you are watching from, and whether you or your mother ever used a block of cake mascara. If you want more forgotten history of the generations who came before us, please subscribe. It truly helps the channel. The next story is waiting for you right now.